We're talking today with Mr. Joseph Mitch. We're in Greenville, Michigan. The interviewer is James Smither of Grand Valley State University. Mr. Mitch, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your background? Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born in Denora, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and what kind of town is Denora?
Well, we're steel mills.
Okay, and what did your father do?
My father was a coal miner and died with miners at the age of 59.
Mm-hmm. And did your mother work or did she stay home?
No, she stayed home all the time.
Okay. Now you were born in 1919. So what did you do when you finished high school?
I didn't go to school.
Okay. How long did you go to school?
Third grade, something like that.
Just to third grade. So what were you?
I couldn't get nothing. I couldn't get nothing. You know?
Okay. So what kind of work were you doing then when you were a kid?
Well, when I was a kid, I was out looking for junk, copper, brass, and stuff like that. Sell it to this guy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to make a buck, you know, bring it home to mom.
Okay. And when you got a little older, what did you do?
As I got older, well, I still stayed in junk, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because there was good money in it. And I did that, and that's about it. What else did I do? Well, I was a loan shark too. You know, it's $quarter on $1, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They do it pretty well there sometimes. It gets you too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can't win all of them.
Right.
I tried that. And all that sort of stuff. So then we used to have picnic grounds around, in the grounds around, in the fields, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the park wouldn't let us have no dice game, you know. We had a dice game out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd take AC-Lucy, you know, so we were doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Made a lot of money. Like a guy was there, he says, cry baby, mama buy popcorn, you know. And he was the one that got clipped for, so somebody stole all his money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who did, and I really don't know. So there was always something that was involved, you know.
Now, how did you wind up in the Army?
They took me in. See, they didn't want to take me,
Mm-hmm.
because in my IQ they didn't want to take me. But then they said, let's take him anyhow, you know.
Mm-hmm. So when did you enlist?
I didn't, they drafted me.
Okay, you got drafted. All right. And what year did you get drafted?
I think it was in 41.
Okay, so it was before Pearl Harbor then?
Oh, yes.
All right. Now, describe for us the induction process. You said they didn't want to take you because of your IQ, and then they decided to take you anyway.
Yeah. They just used me as a flunky all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which is all okay too, man. And I become a loan shark there, you know.
Where did you, let's see, where did you go first? Where was the first place you went when you entered the Army?
Went into the Army.
Oh, where did you go?
I went to Louisiana, let me see, Camp Polk.
Okay. Were you in Camp Beauregard before Camp Polk?
No, Camp
Or
Polk.
you just went straight to Camp Polk? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what time of year that was?
It was the beginning of the war, you know.
Okay. So it's like end of 41 or
Yeah.
beginning 42.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe what Camp Polk was like? What kind of place was it?
Well, Camp Polk was very prejudiced down there, you know,
Mhm.
at the time. Even with the whites, you know. And you had to be very careful with them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They still had that prejudice there, you know.
Well, how did that prejudice, well, what did you see of that prejudice?
Well,
What?
all I could see, they were all prejudiced because I was from up in the northern part.
Mm-hmm.
And then anybody up from north come down that way, they were prejudiced against them.
Okay. Now, were these the people just in the area around the camp? Or,
Yeah.
okay. Now, when you were at Camp Polk, were you assigned to a particular unit?
I was assigned to a 703rd Tank Destroyers.
Okay. And so that's attached, was that attached to the 3rd Armored Division yet? Or
That
was
was attached to it the 3rd Armored Division. They were alone by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They just attached to them. They didn't own us.
Right.
We had our own colonel. We had our own. Colonel Rose got killed, you know, and my major got killed. So, yeah.
Well, let's tell us a little bit more about the training. What kind of training did you get at Camp Polk? What were you doing there?
Well, just all about. Well, you know, it was out in the desert. We did our training, you know. We rolled around with the trainings, with them things, all over. We did different things, you know. That's about all I know.
Okay. Well, did you have sort of the basic training where they made you march around out in the swamps and in Louisiana? I mean,
No, I didn't have that, no.
okay. Now, what assignment did you have? What was your job in your battalion?
My job was to load the tank. I was loading the shells and fast them, and then that was it.
Okay. Can you describe the tank destroyer itself? I mean,
Huh?
can you describe the tank destroyer, the kind that you were
Oh,
working
I
in?
had a tank destroyer. It was open turp.
Mm-hmm.
Open turp. There was a 703. 703. That was only one outfit, you know. We were attached.
Right. Can you describe the vehicle itself,
Yeah.
the tank destroyer you were in? What kind of vehicle was that?
That vehicle was something. They had good communications, you know. And in there, and it was wonderful. Of course, it was an open turp, so we could see more. Maybe they still see anyhow because they had their equipment to see where they're going, you know.
And what kind of gun did your vehicle have?
90 millimeter.
90 millimeter gun.
I think it was 90.
Okay. Because they were, early in the war, they were mostly long 76. They were a little bit smaller gun. They were better than the gun that a Sherman tank had, but they weren't the 90 millimeter. But they were using 90 millimeters later in the war.
Yeah.
So anyway, now tell us a little bit more about the training in the desert. What were you doing out there?
Well, we trained, you know, just all we could do was move the vehicles around, you know, whatever it was, you know, whatever training you had, you know, night training or morning training and whatever it may be, you know, alert, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. What was life in the Army like for you? You said you got back into loan sharking again.
Yeah, yes, I did. I got back into loan sharking and I made a pot of money. I
And
was very rich. I come out of the Army very rich.
okay, were you lending money mostly to other enlisted men, or were you lending it to the officers? Or?
Some enlisted men would borrow from me. And they would borrow, they'd pay some. Well, because there was some guys clip here too, you know. You know.
So, did you get into any trouble with the officers or the MPs?
No.
Okay.
Well, the officers always thought I was a flunky. You know, that was okay. Being a flunky, I could do what I wanted. You know what the hell he's doing anyhow.
Okay.
But I was, I have a photostatic mind.
Okay, so you remember everything?
I remember everything that come to me. I do it good too, even till today. And I had to be in a shell all the time while I'm doing this, because I didn't want it to get my IQ. See?
Yeah. Well, they probably thought you had a low IQ because you didn't maybe read very well.
That's right.
Yeah.
I couldn't read or nothing like that. So I went the other way. And it worked for me. I was sharp better than I could remember. I have a good memory.
Okay. Now, let's see. What else do you remember about the period when you were in basic training? You know, what was the food like, for instance?
Oh, the food was always, you know, whatever.
Was it any?
It was edible.
It was edible. You know, was it?
We can't complain about that. You know, you could complain even now about the food. We're not so. We have food now that we wish we had. They didn't then. You know? But we didn't. Whatever you got to eat, you know.
Okay. Now, at what point did your unit go overseas?
Overseas?
Yeah. When did you go to England?
When we went to England, we was over there, we did some training there too, you know.
Yeah. Do you remember when you went or what year that was?
Oh, I was before the invasion,
Mhm.
you know. Hey, we was there about 3-4 years too, in England, waiting.
Okay, so you might have, well, I think the division started to get there in 42 and probably
Yeah,
most of
we got
43.
there early, but
Okay.
we
Yeah. What was England? What was it like to go across the ocean for you? What do you remember about that?
Well, I didn't think nothing of it, you know, just, you know, but it was heavy and bouncing and boom, all that sort of stuff. I didn't get sick. Some guy gets sick, puking all the time, you know. I was lucky I didn't get sick.
What kind of ship were you on? Were you on an ocean liner or a Liberty ship or something else?
Must have been an ocean liner because we had all our equipment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one, so
Okay. And were you sailing with a convoy? Do you remember?
sailing
With a convoy?
yeah,
A lot of other ships.
yeah.
And did you have any problems with U-boats or icebergs or anything like that?
No.
Okay, so it's a quiet trip over. Okay, where did you go in England?
We went to England. I can't think of the name right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, is there Bath, England?
That's possible.
Okay, I think we're in Bath, England.
Yeah. Were there some open plains and open country around there to train in?
Yeah.
Okay, that probably was Bath.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any contact with the British military?
No.
They weren't telling you anything about how the Germans fought?
No.
When they were training you, were they telling you anything about the kind of weapons the Germans had or how they fought?
They didn't tell us. We didn't work with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, did any of the Americans know anything about the Germans?
Yeah. So they did their job. They believed in what they were doing, the British.
Mm-hmm.
They were really loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that was it, see.
Did you get to go into any of the towns in England or see any of the people there?
Yes, I went around. Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. And what kinds of things did you do?
Well, I was always, like I said, you know, you always go to them little towns, and they were real nice to us. You know, they were good to us. Yeah. But that was okay. England had a hell of a time over there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Getting bombed every day. We could see the planes coming over.
Mm-hmm.
Bombing every night, day and night. The bombing, destroyed us, all over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I see the planes going over, can't do nothing about it. You don't know where they're gonna land.
Of course, eventually a lot of those planes would have been American, and going the other way.
Yeah, too, I don't know, well, yeah.
Did you go to London?
Yeah,
And what did you see there?
well, I liked London, you know, for what it was, for the city of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I'd seen, you know, wasn't much, you know, different. So, there was English people okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're dedicated, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to their feelings towards their government.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, then, you know.
Right.
Today, it's altogether different.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they used to hate the Americans sometimes because they had everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have as much, you know. And some were prejudiced in a way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I stayed away from them, you know, and just did what we had to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, when you were training in England, did you have men in your unit who had some combat experience? Did you have any men in your battalion who had maybe fought in North Africa or Italy and then joined your unit?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We
So,
had one old soldier who was in a long time.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's ever in the other.
Okay. So basically, your unit was the same guys that you were training with back in Louisiana and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody come in to tell you anything more about how the Germans fought or what to expect when you ran into them?
Well, no, they didn't say nothing about that. Not that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that we know they were dug in with big bunkers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had some big ones, boy.
Yep.
So we didn't turn around, yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, do you? How long after D-Day did your unit land in Normandy? So about when do you think you got to Normandy?
Oh, well, I was on a second wave.
Okay.
The second wave. It was like 3 days later. You know, all the hedgerows and all that shit
Right.
go through and all.
Yeah. Now, Now, how much work did your unit get then? I mean, what was your unit doing in Normandy?
Well, we were on a second wave,
Right.
you know, to
Right.
go, we went straight down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we had some fighting behind them because we had planes going,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and dropping them off.
Right.
But I mean, they didn't know where the hell the front was. They were in the center. We was getting the mirror, and they was getting the center, beating the hell out of them from the back and front. They said, "Where are these guys
Right.
coming from?"
Well, that would have been at the beginning when the paratroopers went in.
Yeah.
But then, now, did your unit land on Omaha Beach? Was that where you went in?
I don't know what beach it was. I can't say.
Okay. Were there like big bluffs and big sand dunes up in front of it?
Yeah.
That's Omaha. Okay. Now, how soon was it before your unit got into combat then?
Right away.
Okay.
I didn't get any combat right away.
Mm-hmm.
And later on we got it combat. Yeah.
Right. Now, were you fighting then in the hedgerows and that?
Yeah. Hedgerows was hard to fight.
Right. Now, in a tank destroyer, you got an open top and pretty thin armor. I mean, wasn't that kind of dangerous?
Oh, yes, it was. And then it had an advantage too. You'd get out of them faster.
Well, that's true. Did your tank destroyer get hit?
No,
Okay.
that was it.
Now, what kind of opposition did you have? Were you fighting German infantry or were there tanks? What did you see?
Well, I would say, no, we didn't. The infantry took care of their job good, you know, whatever they did. You know, we followed them up with whatever was behind them. You know.
Okay. Now, did you have any German vehicles to shoot at? Did you shoot at any tanks?
No, we shot some tanks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you provide support for the infantry? I mean, could you use your tank destroyer's guns against enemy positions?
Pardon?
Well, when you were in Normandy, could your gun help the infantry?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they depended on it.
Okay. What could you do to help your infantry?
I loaded my gun.
Right. And then what kind of target did you have?
Well, whatever we thought they had, big vehicles or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, did your battalion lose a lot of vehicles in that fight?
On our side they didn't, but on the other side they did.
Okay.
They couldn't help it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because they were so close, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got behind them, they didn't know what the hell to do. They didn't know where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
That messed them up.
Mm-hmm. So were you able to get your vehicle in behind the German lines at different times? You're talking.
Oh, no,
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
Not
I
that
didn't
I
think
know
so.
of.
No. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that we have the story straight for somebody
Yeah.
to observe
Yeah.
it. So for the most part, when you were fighting in Normandy, you were backing up the infantry, you were shooting at hard targets.
Yeah.
Okay. But mostly not leading the attacks. You're kind of behind them. Okay. Now, eventually, the Americans break out of Normandy. You get into open country. Do you remember what that was like? I mean, how did it feel to get out of the bocage?
Well, it was easier. You could visualize everything in front of you. You
Mhm.
could see everything in front of you. So. Didn't have much problem seeing that open plains.
Right. Yeah. What do you remember about driving through that part of France? What was the countryside like? What were the people like?
Well, the French were happy to see us.
Mm-hmm.
all of them were happy to see us, there's no doubt about it, you know. Yeah. Mhm. They were really pleased because then they feel they were liberated, which they were.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made them feel good.
Okay. Now, once you got out of Normandy, where did your unit go next?
Our unit, after that,
Yeah.
oh, let me see.
Did you go just across northern France? Did you go to Belgium?
No, we no.
Okay.
No. What was it? Now let me see. No, we weren't down for. We was pretty close to France.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just don't remember it.
Okay.
Let me see.
Now, did you, when you were moving across northern France, did you have much combat, or were you just mostly driving?
Mostly driving, you know, just so we had the force to back them up if there was
Mm-hmm.
any bigger instruments there
Mm-hmm.
to fight with, then we could fight them.
Mm-hmm. And then, how long were you kind of on the move?
On the move,
Yeah, how long were you just rolling forward?
going forward, we went forward pretty fast. You
Mm-hmm.
know? We rushed in there pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know where the hell we was coming from.
Right. And where did you stop?
Just don't remember now exactly
Okay.
where we stopped.
Now, let's see, did your unit get involved in the fighting around the Hürtgen Forest?
Yes.
Okay. That's sort of the there's a forest there on the German border. There was
Yeah.
very hard fighting there in the fall.
Yeah.
And was your unit there?
I imagine it was,
Mhm.
not mine, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
they come on the flanks, you know,
Mm-hmm.
one side.
Yeah. Well, was your unit going into areas that had a lot of forest and hills and things like that?
Mm. Yeah.
And was your unit kind of getting up into action then, or were they mostly kind of staying back and?
Well, you had to stay back because you know you had to protect yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
Because them banks, all them, you know, everybody owned a little bit on that.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to make that, cut them out,
Mm-hmm.
make an opening, and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know what you're going to catch on the other side.
Right. Now, did you have that kind of thing in Germany and stuff as well as in Normandy, or was that mostly just Normandy?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. Because we're trying to take your story forward here a little bit. We've gotten you through Normandy. You're out the other side. Nobody blew you up. You've gotten across northern France now. It's getting to be late in the year.
Yeah, we went across France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they
And
were happy to see us. In fact, they were occupied. You know.
right. Now, did you see much, battle damage in France? Did you see bombed out buildings and things like that?
Oh yes, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Burned down and everything. You know.
Okay. Now, as we get to the end of 1944, it gets into the fall and the start of winter, the Americans pretty much stop advancing.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of run up against the German defenses and fortifications along their border, and you pretty much stop. And then in December of 44, the Germans counterattack.
Yeah.
You get the Battle of the Bulge.
Down in the Bulge, yeah.
What was your unit doing then, kind of in December and January?
January and February, we were around Cologne,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we was at.
Mm-hmm.
See, and we backed them up, you know, if they needed any
Mm-hmm.
help, but they didn't have no help. Knocked the hell out of them, you know. It's certainly after that, you know, we just keep fighting the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know what else I could tell you is we got to Cologne.
Mm-hmm.
We had pictures that we were there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
First one by that cathedral
Right.
they stayed. And was a hotel and some white horses.
Mm-hmm.
Some white horses. They had some prize horses.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't hit them things. And they got rid of them. I don't know who took them,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the Americans took them or not, but they got them. I remember that. And then we were in Cologne. That was about it.
Okay. What did Cologne look like when you got there?
All destroyed. Right there, was standing in a motel.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you, and the cathedral,
Mm-hmm.
and what was it? And where in Price.
Right, where the horses were. Right.
They were survived.
Mm-hmm.
Survived that. I don't know. They must had that all figured out, you know, before they went up here. And boy, I tell you what, the way they did it, boy, they did it right too when they hit them. See, yeah. I couldn't believe it, you know, and got the horses and they're gone with them. And that was it. I don't know who took the horses. I really don't know.
Okay. Now,
They were prize horses.
mm-hmm.
So
Nope.
today I don't know who got them.
Now, when you were in Germany, what do you remember about the German people there? Did you see much of them? How did they act?
German people, you know, they're strong people, you know, strong people. They think alike, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty tough to deal with, but in this case, they didn't have much choice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I dealt with them pretty good. I speak a little German, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I be an interpreter for German, you know. Get a Polak, I'm an interpreter,
Mm-hmm.
or some Slavic language.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak, and then I've been an interpreter. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty good for that man with the low IQ, right?
Yeah. You know where you lose it and where you gain it.
Yeah, you learn
And I
language.
was amazed. I couldn't understand that all my life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I said, gee, I can speak all these damn languages, and no schooling, no nothing.
But did you hear those languages when you were growing up? I mean, did the coal miners speak those languages?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, really, well, we'll go back a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a little younger,
Mm-hmm.
I used to peddle fruit with the guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were selling fruit, you know, like apples or pears or whatever, we didn't care to buy. People would buy, you know. So I took, we had some potatoes. We bought some potatoes. We said $1 a bag. Well, they took 10 pounds out and they got 90 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So one woman told me, well, I'll buy it for $1 if you take them up all the steps. up the steps. And I said, gee, that's a long way up there. So I said, Ben, I'm going to go up there. So somehow, I said, well, I'll go up there. And there was a guy calling something there, and Streamline, you know, and a nickname named Streamline. You know, stayed right with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I gained my name, going up that steps. And I come back. Well, if I bring the sack back, I get 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a dime on that. And that way I started hustling. But just like I was always a hustler.
Mm-hmm.
I find a way with something, you know.
Okay. Now, when you were in Europe, when you were in France and Germany, did you get a chance to collect souvenirs or buy things from people or sell them to people?
Well, I never had, there were some intelligent people, you know, the Germans when it was all over.
Mm-hmm.
They'd ask you to come eat in their place and everything. Because they were real nice, you know, doing this and that. And I think I did go to dinner with one guy. He was a nice guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the next guy, I told the next guy one time, one of them Germans over there, the Russians are going to be here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What? And he went back and he committed suicide.
Wow. So you were pretty far east in Germany then?
Huh?
You must have gotten pretty far into Germany.
Far into Germany,
Yeah.
and we were liberating these people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told him that, I'm sorry I told him that, you know, because he committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothered me ever since.
Mm-hmm. Well, he may have been he may have been a Nazi. He may have been
Maybe-
somebody
maybe,
that the Soviets were going to go after when they got
I
there.
don't know how they, but anyway, he was dead. He was shot out. It go boom.
Where was you? Do you remember what country you were in when the war ended? Were you in Germany or
Germany.
Austria or
No,
Czechoslovakia?
Germany.
You were still in Germany. Do you remember around what city you were? Do you remember what cities you were near then, or rivers or things like that?
Oh, I don't remember all those
Okay.
cities. No,
Yeah,
quite a few cities to go through.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And if you weren't
No,
reading
I
the
know
maps,
that.
yeah.
I know when I was going down there, and I was going down, and I was following, and there was pictures. You know, there was a whole. They got the whole stream of Germans,
Mm-hmm.
a whole convoy of them,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, they hit them on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started running across the plains.
Mm-hmm.
All of them left their vehicles, destroyed all the damn vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
knocked the hell out of them. Then we could go down straight through.
Mm-hmm.
I had a picture of it one time.
Okay.
I don't know where it's at.
Now, after you were in Cologne, were the Germans still fighting back? I mean, were they still?
No, nobody, no. You didn't have nobody. There was no one tried it. I don't think so at all.
Okay, but was there still a German army out there? I mean, did you still have
They
to go?
more likely had an army, but they weren't. They won't put their guns down.
Okay, they weren't looking for you. Do you remember hearing that the war ended? Was that a surprise, or were you expecting it?
Well, I was surprised. Yeah, I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
And what happened then? After your men of your unit find out the war's over, then what do you do?
They're going to send us over to Japan
Mm-hmm.
or someplace where they're going to take us, you know. But then when the atomic bomb went off, then that equalized everything.
Now, were you still in Germany when the atomic bomb went off?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did your unit do in Germany after the Germans surrendered?
Well, we didn't do much. Just did do what we had to do. Then there were no problems. They go this way and that way. Yeah. I didn't hate the Germans. I didn't hate the. I didn't hate anybody actually. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I have feeling, and
Mm-hmm.
some people don't have feeling. A person is a person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't know. I often wonder, to me, for myself, and being in a shell like I told you,
Mm-hmm.
I've had a good photostatic mind which helped me very much.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Of course, you might not believe such a thing.
oh, I believe things like that.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah. I mean, I've known a few people who can just remember pretty much everything. And, you know, that just would have made sense for you anyway, because if you, it was a way to learn things and control things if you weren't reading, then, okay. Now, what did you do after you got out of the Army?
When I got out of the Army, I told you I was a loan shark for first.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's what I did, and I did it well. So that was okay. And then I bought a house
Mm-hmm.
in town or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was after it, but I got it though,
Mm-hmm.
because it went up for bids.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, the whole town hated me for that, which was okay. Then
Oh.
now I have to fight the town.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you still in Pennsylvania then?
Yeah.
Was that still Denora?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got this, we were stationed there,
Mm-hmm.
so I did get the house and a lot next to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was well hated for it because so many people wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to hate, and I did my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't touch me, so then I got that going, got the house, and I did finish it, had it all fixed up nice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still own it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I own it now or the boy owns it or
Mhm.
whatever. I don't know.
But it's still in the family.
It's the family anyway. So, and this is that. And then there was another little house. No, there was a lot
Mm-hmm.
with a little house on it. And I bought that. So, okay, I destroyed that and built a house there.
Mm-hmm.
Built a house for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Built a nice home. Built a real nice place. 3 bedrooms and stuff like that, and a big 36, 38 by 60 or something with
Mhm.
a double garage.
Yeah.
And I built this, and everybody wanted to get in my house. I wouldn't let nobody in it,
Mm-hmm.
because all the girls were after me, because I had a house,
Mm-hmm.
I had everything, you know. You know how that is.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing now.
So how long before you got married?
I was 47 years old.
Okay, so it took a while.
Took a while, yeah. I found the girl.
Mm-hmm.
See, so anyway, you know, well, see, whatever I did, I was hated for, because I got the house, right, like I told you,
Mhm.
this and that, and anything I wanted, I got it, you know. So I turned around, then what happened, I see this girl, you know, it's my wife, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I see this girl walking around here. I didn't know who she was. I liked her right away, didn't know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
I seen her one day. I said, come around here. It was in a bar. You know, she had a bar. She was associated with it in a bar. I said, you know what? Let's go play the jukebox. I told her, I says, yeah, come on, she wants to go play the jukebox. We play the jukebox. I said, you know what? I'm going to marry you. Why don't you go find a nice girl? I did. I said, and I got her. And there you are. I picked the top shelf there, and now I'm hated again,
Mm-hmm.
which was glory for me, right? So I capitalized on it. What the hell's the difference, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know? See, so that was it. But she, we were married a long time, about 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she died, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was bad when she died. So had to hold a pip out of me then for a while. And sometimes even now. Well, she going now, but the sickness she had, she couldn't get it. Was coming anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what you call that sickness now. You just can't cure it. You
Mm-hmm.
know? So anyway, it couldn't be cured. So
Now, if you think back to it now, how did your time in the Army affect you? Do you think you see things differently or understand them differently because you were in the Army? Or were you the same guy at the end that you were at the beginning?
well, I was the same guy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't change my personality.
Okay.
So here the last few years, like, just lately.
Mm-hmm.
Then they don't want to believe it, so then you know, okay, you know, sometimes I tell somebody. So that's about it.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit to, sort of the men in your battalion, the unit you trained with. Were you with the same crew in the same tank destroyer pretty much the whole time?
Yeah, my same crew, yeah.
Okay. What were those guys like? Can you describe them?
When you're trying,
The crew that you were serving with.
it was doing good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where were they from? Do you know?
The boys,
Yeah.
you know, that's something, I don't even know their names now,
Mhm.
so I forgot already.
Mm-hmm.
I seen their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a Popovich in there, I know that. And a couple of guys, I have to look it up. Maybe it can come back to me, you know.
Yeah. Now, were most of the guys in your battalion, were most of them Northerners? Were they from,
Yeah,
and were they mostly from like Pennsylvania, or were they from a lot of places?
all over, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all over. Then we had discrimination there too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
you know, because the way it was at the time, you know. But it worked out okay, and it got, we won anyhow.
Mhm.
The government won.
Right.
The government won.
Mhm.
We didn't win it, they won.
Mhm.
They had to get this together. They did it.
Mhm.
They put it on us and we had to live with it and they had to live with it.
Mhm.
And that's the way it is today.
Right.
And I'm glad it is.
All right.
And that can be free to go. If he's a free man,
Mhm.
let him go wherever he wants to go.
Mhm.
And don't bother him.
Right.
And I believe in that.
Okay then. Do you remember anything else from your war service that you want to add to the record, or do you think you've covered it pretty much?
Oh, I think I covered it pretty much. As a kid, barefooted
Mm-hmm.
and putting shoes on.
Yeah.
And this little story I want to tell you. There was a cop in town. He always liked me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Always, every time he liked me, he just liked me. I just think and I'm downtown, and I was barefooted.
Mm-hmm.
And they had shoes, $2 a pair,
Mm-hmm.
in the store, you know.
Right.
Okay, he bought me a pair of shoes.
Wow.
So, that wasn't so bad. My brother was crying because you got no shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I took him down, he got a pair of shoes.
Wow.
So, that's a shoe story. And I'll never forget it. Yeah, but you know what? I don't know why, but somebody, well, like I told you, photostatic mind, right?
Mhm.
I protected myself pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like you came out pretty well in the end.
Yeah.
All right then.
Did you know I buried all my friends?
No,
No, all of them.
you've outlived them.
You
Yeah.
know what? The ones that stayed back home in their steel mills as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the time I
Yeah.
left there, I said, I'm not going to do this. It's kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Ham-Traffic to get a job, and I did get a job there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started loan sharking in there too, and everything else. Made a lot of money. So anyway, it's today I would do the same thing if I had to go over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I had friends. You know, I had friends like this. The guy hit my car, right? And he called the cops, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and called them cops on him because, you know, you need to get license.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not so bad. I own the home.
Mm-hmm.
I built that home, I told you about
Mhm.
that. One guy goes in there, bang, he's renting from me.
Mm-hmm.
Pushes the whole goddamn back wall out into my house. So stupid me, I could have got it on insurance, and he would have paid a penalty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that. I didn't turn that guy in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of guy I was. I fixed that thing. I didn't want to hurt that old man.
Mhm.
It was an old people, two old people.
Mm-hmm.
Often wonder, what the hell's wrong with your head? After I did all this stuff, you know. I did, you know. And I could have capitalized on every bit of that stuff. See?
Okay. Now, she's given you a couple of pictures.
Yeah, yeah. This is the day it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah, the day the war was over. You see me on that horse, on a cow. See that
Right.
cow? That cow. That's the day the war's over. Yeah, here.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that was the day. And you know what? It's the only thing I saved. You see this here little bead here?
Mm-hmm.
This string of beads. Oh, no, she ain't here now. I give them to her. That's gold plated. Yeah, that was my crew.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am drinking. See it there?
Yep.
That chain?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
See? End of the war. See, here you are. Streamline.
Mm-hmm.
See right there, war. Let's see.
Her head, yeah. Or his head, rather. Okay.
So, there you are.
Mhm.
And things we want to celebrate.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
Oh, well, we had fun.
All right. Okay.